Hello, this is Maria from Kitchen Sink Stamps. I find having extra paper cutouts that are ready and waiting to be stamped a lifesaver when I need a quick card. In this video, you'll see how I use an SVG Cut file to make multiple cutouts and a stamping jig at the same time. Before we start, make sure you have the SVG Cut file downloaded onto a device that can connect to the internet and your Scan and Cut. To begin, open the online version of Canvas Workshop and create a new project. To import the SVG file into the project space, select the SVG icon in the upper toolbar. In the pop-up window, choose File, select the SVG file from where it has been saved. For this example, I'm using the Plumeria SVG Cut file. Once the file is listed in the window, select OK. The file will now appear in the project window. At this point, check that the SVG file has imported into the window at the correct size. First, group everything together, including the 2-inch measure guide. If the 2-inch measure guide does not match up with the 1-inch project grid underneath, resize the grouped image until the 2-inch guide matches 2 full 1-inch grid squares. If the measure guide matches the project grid, ungroup everything and delete the 2-inch measure guide. It is no longer needed. At this point, I could send my project to the Scan and Cut and cut one set of plumerias, but I want to make multiple cutouts at once and save time later on. I like to place one full set of cut images in the upper left-hand corner. Using the rulers at the top and down the left side of the project window, I plan to fill an 8.5 by 11 inch area by copying and pasting the cut images. 8.5 by 11 inch is the size of cardstock I plan on using for all my cutouts when I get to my Scan and Cut machine. For this cutting session, I want more flowers and big leaves than I want small leaves, so I'm using a combination of ungrouping and selecting in addition to copy and paste until the 8.5 by 11 area is all filled. Although I'm using CanvasWorkspace and a Scan and Cut SDX, the concept that I'm showing today in this video is the same for most digital cutting machines. I'm going to speed up the video just a little bit during this process. Since I have moved around a number of images while filling up the 8.5 by 11 inch space, I'm going to double check that I have enough space around that first group of images. This area will be cut off from the rest and used separately as a stamping jig after all the cutouts have been made. Lastly, I group everything together. This makes it easier to move the 8.5 by 11 project around and will save a step from having to do this on the small Scan and Cut screen. It is now time to send the finished file to the Scan and Cut by selecting the purple download button. In a pop-up window, you will see two choices: download the file to a computer or directly with a Wi-Fi connection. This is the option I am using. Another pop-up will appear when the file has finished transferring. You can close this window and your project window unless you want to save it and use it again at another time. And now it's time to move on to your Scan and Cut, and let's start cutting. The Scan and Cut is on with a loaded mat with cardstock. Select the Retrieve Data button. Because I sent the file using Wi-Fi, I will be selecting the top right button with the Wi-Fi icon. Once my project appears on screen, I'm going to scan the mat so I can see where the cardstock is located on the mat by viewing it on the screen. Next, select Edit and then Zoom to check that all the cut images are placed within the paper area. The top arrows will move an object and the bottom arrows will move your page so you can see both the top and the bottom edges. Everything looks good, so I'm going to hit OK. Now we're ready to start cutting. Select Cut, Start Cutting, and this looks like it'll take about 4 minutes to cut the full 8.5 by 11 page. While the machine is cutting, I thought I'd share a side note. The cardstock I prefer to use for stamping and making cutouts is either 80-pound Solar White Classic Crest cover from Neenah or 100-pound premium color copy cover from Hammermill. I think both cut really smooth with very minimum tearing, and they both are great for stamping when you're stamping multiple layers. They both can hold a lot of ink. Anyway, I thought I'd share. Those are my two favorites. After the project has finished cutting, unload the mat and carefully pull up the outer cardstock, or what I like to call cutout waste, and put this to the side. We will need it for a stamping jig in another video. To remove all the small cutouts off the mat, I like to bend the mat and then they just sort of pop off. I find it much easier. Well, anyway, there you have it. This is how you make a full sheet of cutouts and a jig at the same time. For the second portion of this video, please watch how to stamp with a jig. I hope you found this video helpful, and if so, please hit the like button and let me know that you'd like to see more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous and crafty day. Bye!